Welcome to this explainer. Okay, if you're still thinking of AI voice generation as just, some fun social media trick or a basic tool for faceless YouTube channels, it is definitely time to update your framework. We are looking at a totally new landscape where voice AI has rapidly evolved into a highly secure, enterprise-grade operating system. So today, we're unpacking the ElevenLabs Audio OS ecosystem, and we're specifically looking at it through a business and executive lens. We're going to explore exactly how you control, secure, and scale your corporate voice assets.
Let's establish the bottom line right out of the gate. We are actively shifting far away from basic text-to-speech generation. What ElevenLabs has built is now an absolutely essential, structurally sound business tool designed specifically for executives, legal teams, and compliance officers. It's really all about precision, operational rigor, and deploying voice as a tightly managed corporate asset. Okay, let's dive into this whole paradigm shift. By 2026, ElevenLabs transitioned into what's known as an Audio OS. Now, this isn't just some text box that spits out a robotic-sounding voice anymore. It's a comprehensive AI audio ecosystem. It supports hyper-realistic voice synthesis, professional cloning, and entirely interactive AI agents that can actually read documents and hold context-aware conversations. It's honestly fascinating to see just how far this architecture has come.
Here is our executive roadmap for today. 1. The Audio OS ecosystem. 2. Enterprise security and compliance. 3. Mechanical voice pacing controls. 4. Text normalization for precision. And 5. Operational voice profiles. Let's get to it.
Section 1. The Audio OS ecosystem. Scaling corporate audio.
To really harness this technology, you need to understand the centralized workspace. The platform itself is basically organized into a few core modules. You've got 11v3, which is their advanced model boasting a massive reduction in complex text errors, which is perfect for tricky legal and statutory codes. Then there's the Voice Lab for professional, hyper-realistic cloning. But for businesses, two modules really stand out here. First, 11 agents, allowing you to build low-latency interactive AI for things like 24/7 bilingual legal intake, and second, Scribe v2. This is a forensic transcription tool that can literally isolate and label up to 32 different speakers in a single audio file, complete with dynamic audio tagging for background noises. It's an absolute game changer for depositions or incident debriefs.
And this setup brilliantly illustrates how the platform is structured to grow right alongside your corporate needs. While individual creators might stick to those middle tiers, the enterprise focus is squarely on the scale tier at the bottom. At $330 a month, you're unlocking 2 million characters, advanced API access, and absolutely crucial team collaboration seats. High-volume enterprise users can even negotiate custom annual contracts. But with that kind of massive volume and corporate usage, we definitely have to talk about data protection.
Which brings us to Section 2, Enterprise Security and Compliance, the legal ledger.
Processing sensitive legal, financial, or behavioral data obviously requires absolute containment. 0. That is literally the most important number for a compliance officer to see. ElevenLabs offers a strict zero retention mode, so when you're processing proprietary case data, witness statements, or behavioral histories, that data is never stored and it's never used to train future language models. The enterprise architecture operates under incredibly strict SOC 2, HIPAA, and GDPR compliance, utilizing regional data residency to maintain absolute ironclad data boundaries. Furthermore, they've introduced AI AESE1 certification specifically for their AI agents. Now, what that actually means for you is that the agents undergo rigorous adversarial testing for data privacy, security, and the outright prevention of hallucinations. Because when you deploy an interactive voice agent in a high-stakes legal or corporate environment, it must be completely legally sound and factually locked down. No exceptions.
Section 3, Mechanical Voice Pacing Controls, Structuring the Output.
So the crucial point here is you kind of have to forget how older technology worked. There is no traditional speed slider in ElevenLabs. Instead, because these AI models generate speech based on contextual rhythm rather than just mechanical playback, you control the speed by basically engineering the structural environment of the text itself. You have to use punctuation as structural breaks. If you need the AI to slow down and deliver a really dense consequence ledger, you use M-dashes to force a distinct mid-sentence delay. You over-punctuate, add extra commas just to force the AI to pause and systematically step out its delivery. And instead of a single space between paragraphs, you use a double line break. Just hit enter twice. That forces the audio engine to take a deep, full breath and physically reset its pacing before the next thought begins.
Now, alongside those structural breaks, you must completely lock down the voice design parameters. For a clinical, authoritative, legal delivery, you're going to want stability set high, around 85%, just to prevent the AI from adding weird conversational hype at the ends of sentences. Clarity should also be high, right around 90, to ensure forensic-level diction. But notice that style exaggeration slider. You want to keep this strictly at 0. You do not want the model attempting to act out or interpret the emotion of a structured legal document. Remember, authoritative weight comes from steady neutrality, not theatricality.
This gives us a really solid, formal action plan for pacing. First, audit your source audio. If the original voice clone is hyper-energetic, your output's going to be hyper-energetic too. Second, insert those rhythmic punctuation breaks we just discussed. Third, and I cannot stress this enough, run a micro-increment test. Process a single, highly dense paragraph and listen strictly for the breath control before you run an entire 20-page brief. Finally, if your structural manipulation somehow causes glitches, just generate the stable audio first, then use external professional software to apply a 10 to 15% time stretch. That'll slow the tempo without lowering the pitch.
Section 4. Text normalization for precision. Formatting for AI.
Look, you simply cannot just copy and paste raw legal or financial documents into a generative voice model and expect it to work flawlessly. If you feed the AI raw shorthand, like a $ next to a 5 and a 4, or a complex legal citation with a tiny section symbol, it'll glitch, it'll mispronounce things, or it'll hallucinate sounds. You absolutely must normalize the text first. You write out the words $5,400. You expand abbreviations fully to Title 42 United States Code, Section 1983. And for acronyms, you format them with hyphens, like F-B-I. That forces the TTS engine to spell them out clearly and preserves absolute legal and structural integrity.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how you scale it. The most efficient way to achieve this kind of normalization at an enterprise scale is to actually use a specialized system instruction prompt in a standard LLM before you ever even touch ElevenLabs. You literally just instruct the LLM to rewrite your text, strictly applying those normalization rules, expanding abbreviations, spelling out numbers, inserting those pacing commas, without altering a single legal meaning or finding. This prepares the text perfectly for the multilingual V2 model, ensuring absolute, bulletproof stability.
And finally, Section 5. Operational Voice Profiles. Cross-Functional Alignment.
So, once your text is normalized and your parameters are set, how do you actually scale corporate voice profiles effectively across totally different departments? Well, you do it by aligning the linguistic blueprint directly to the specific operational outcome you need. A highly tuned system can generate distinct technical profiles. A legal or helpful voice mitigates risk using conditional statements, and it's delivered with a mid-range pitch and a warm downward inflection. Contrast that with a probation authority profile meant for state-ordered compliance. That one requires static, definitive verbs delivered in a low register, unyielding monotone with very sharp consonants. Or a trainer prevention voice, which focuses on proactive safety with an energetic staccato rhythm, while a clinical biobehavioral profile relies on a flat, highly measured, almost professorial cadence to explain physiological mechanics without any emotional labels.
Think of this as your direct cheat sheet for cross-functional business teams. It clearly highlights exactly what to avoid, which honestly is usually emotional conversational drift, and replaces it with correct, highly objective operational phrasing. Notice how an emotional phrase like "you will face severe liability" transforms into the much more objective "to maintain regulatory compliance, establish a verifiable risk matrix." Or how a soft "please make sure you follow these house rules" becomes the highly authoritative "the court-ordered management plan mandates." This kind of linguistic precision, combined with those mechanical voice parameters we talked about, is exactly how you engineer a true corporate voice asset.
And that leads us to the ultimate standard for any enterprise voice output. Every single script, every AI interaction must end with this level of operational validation. It has to be built strictly upon systemic integrity and objective forensics. Absolutely no unverified variables and zero conversational filler generated.
Which leaves us with this final, critical thought for your organization. Take a hard look at your current workflows. Are you actively managing your corporate AI voice as a structured, securely governed, and legally sound operational asset? Or are you, like a lot of folks, just pasting text into a generator and hoping it sounds professional? The tools for absolute enterprise precision are already here. The next step is simply applying the operational rigor to use them.